My name is Mariam, and there's one thing we all have in common. We all have a story. Ruby Bridges was only 6 years old. Malala and Anne Frank were only 15. Some people forget just how important girls are. But we matter and our stories matter. When you think about the Underground Railroad, you might think about a train. But it was actually a network of people from the south escaping to the north. Did you know that Illinois was part of the Underground Railroad, including the tiny town of Geneseo, Illinois? Did you know that girls were a part of the story?
So, can you tell me why it was called the Underground Railroad?
At the time of the movement of the abolitionists, railroads were crisscrossing across the United States. And so people knew the names of conductors and all the names of helpers that were for the railroad. So they decided if they used those same terms and called it underground, that those would be the terms that they would use as slaves to let them know without being found out again, because it would sound like you're going on a train to Boston or to Cleveland or to wherever.
What were the challenges of helping the slaves escape?
Not getting found out, not having your family torn apart, not having the man of the house being put in prison. Those were the biggest challenges. If you were slaves on the Freedom Trail and you were coming to our hiding space, you would not be standing in another home. This house was not built until 1867. And if you look at the store, you would say, why has that got a glass panels in it? And it's because it says we have nothing to hide, but behind this door we have a really big secret. You would be standing in prairie grass and thicket as tall as you are or higher, and it was a hiding space so that you could secretly get in here without being caught. Would you like to join me?
Yes.
So, how were young girls and women involved in the Underground Railroad?
Mostly through the church, and that was also a way to escape people realizing what they were doing. And everybody thought they were having quilting bees, but actually they were cutting quilts and cutting blankets to make little strips for the slaves' feet. These are the two rooms where the slaves usually slept when they came here. And little Georgiana Richards, the little girl that lived in this house, who we estimate is probably 6 or 7 years old, it was her job to take the pitcher and the bowl and go and get nice warm water and some soap and scrub their feet, because the slaves traveled from the south to the north through the riverbeds, through the rivers, through the thicket. Their feet would be all torn up and have lots of sores and blisters on them. So when they got here, they wanted to make sure they cleaned them out real good, and then they would put salve into the wounds and the sole of the foot. And the women of the Congregational Church would cut little wool rags and wrap their feet in these wool rags, and as they slept at night, that salve would go into those rags. And if you've ever shrunk a wool sweater, you know what it's like. It would become really crusty at the bottom and shrink up, and that was their new pair of shoes. This is our hiding hole. There was a brick wall all the way up to this window. In the back, there was a wall that went up a brick wall and another window so that you could see to the outside. This addition was added on later where you see the pink. And this was really important because they would turn these little turnkeys that are here, climb in between this hiding hole. The beams are cut away. People were bounty hunters and looking for the slaves. They would see the window, could look through, and they would think, oh, they're not hiding anything. Or if they came down here, they would look through. And there used to be an old curtain, but it rotted away. Some of the stories that we have here are really important. There's a man and a lady and a little baby, and the baby cried cried and cried and cried and cried. And they were so afraid they were going to be found out that they were harboring slaves in the basement. So Mrs. Richards went out to her herb garden and she picked some herbs. They fed them to the baby, swaddled the baby, put the baby up into the rafters, and the baby was in there a day and a half and never cried. So we all wonder, what did they give the baby, and was it okay? We'll never know.
Why would you say it's important to have a museum form of the Underground Railroad?
It's part of our Geneseo heritage, and it's part of the heritage of the United States at the time of slavery. And it needs to be known that there were people here that were here to help break all the chains, and that believed that slavery was wrong and that all people should be created equal and all people should have equal rights. So when this house came on the market, our historical association said, this is what we have to do. We have to make this public, and we did.
Hey Angie, I found this quote on the wall.
This is one of my favorite quotes. Freedom is a result of daily choices by ordinary people. Can we all say that together? Freedom is a result of daily choices made by ordinary people.